Welcome to the NNJR Trackside Classroom, now on YouTube. Today's topic is Vision and Situational Awareness. This presentation is designed for advanced drivers, that is solo drivers, although there'll be some tips here that student drivers can probably apply. But some of these things are going to be perhaps a touch beyond a lot of new drivers on the track. But that said, vision is, of course, one of the most, if not the most important skills that we use on track, and frankly, every day when we get in the car. And so being aware of what we can see and what that means, and that's the whole situational awareness part of this, is obviously very critical to everyone. So with that said, let's dive right in. I'm going to reference Thunderbolt a couple of times today, but this presentation is equally applicable to any track. So the disclaimer also equally applicable. Our best attempt to give you good advice, but you use it at your own risk. So here's what we're going to talk about. Vision is much more than our eyes, and even more than knowing where and how to look. And in fact, you can see more. More importantly, probably, as you go faster, you must see more in order to be safe. So I'm going to provide several, what I hope are easy tips and easy techniques that you can use to improve your vision and in a practical way. So let's start with vision being more than our eyes. Yeah, obviously we look where we're going and we have to see our reference points, but we have to be aware of what's going on around us from a safety perspective. We tend to lump that in the heading of situational awareness, which includes things like flag stations, traffic, track surface, and on and on. But that means we have to be able to see and process. It's also our depth perception. How good are we when we look in the mirror at judging how fast that car behind is closing or not? How far away are they in the mirror? If you're not very good at that, you need to practice that. And certainly goes without saying that our eyes need to be tested and sharp. But even as good as our eyes are, our vision is worthless until our brain can process it. Because just think about a simple example. You come over a crest on the track or around a corner, and there's an object in the middle of the track in front of you. Your eyes have to see that, but nothing's going to happen until your brain says, oh, that's the remnants of a number. It's not a big deal. Or that's a groundhog running across the track. I need to be prepared for evasive action. Well, the vision part takes, a portion of a second. Our brain takes another portion of a second, and sometimes even a whole second or more, to process what we've just seen, and then tell our hands, feet, and so on to respond. And so that reaction time is really essential on track. And by the way, the more unusual the situation that you encounter, the longer your reaction time. So getting our brain, engaged in the proper way is just as important as seeing things in front of us and around us. So the whole point of today's presentation is, yes, there is the classic advice of looking ahead, look where we want to go, lots of reference points, use your peripheral vision, but I think we can do better. Now, to set the stage for that, you've seen this before, I hope, but I'm going to reemphasize how our eyes and our brain work together and how we should be applying them when we're on the track. Our main focus, our high definition vision, if you want to think about it that way, is what we see in our central vision, a very small portion of what we can see, as big as my fist when I hold it out in front of my eyes at arm's length. And that's where we get the detail. And by the way, that's where the car is going to go, because that's where we're focused and looking. Our peripheral vision, on the other hand, doesn't see in high definition at all. But it is useful in picking up motion, which is why it's useful for mirrors and anything else going around us. A glance is using that central vision, but for a different purpose, where we just do a quick glance in the mirror or a quick glance ahead. And again, very important to keep that central vision moving. And then finally, when we're on the track, we have a mental vision of what the corner should look like. And by the way, a mental vision of what the flag stations should look like. So obviously, in most cases, green condition means no flag. So we have that picture in our head. So if we glance at a flag station and the mental picture is different, that should send off alarm bells so that we see so we move our eyes more carefully to pick up exactly what's going on. Now, this is the more detailed version of that picture. For those of you who are interested, it shows you how small that focus area really is, and the fact that we can see text in a slightly bigger area. But by the way, that's not very big. So if you're taking your eyes off the road to look at your lap timer or anything else, you're probably not focused where you should be. Color, we see in a bigger area, and obviously motion, which is what our peripheral vision is best at, in the widest area. Now, when we put this on the track for how we want to apply our eyes in checking out a corner, setting aside we don't have flag stations shown here, this is how we should be applying that on the track. And I imagine everyone watching this should indeed know all of this, but because this is pretty basic, but I'm going to repeat it just for emphasis. Our focus area, as you can see in the purple, is very small, and it's sort of where we want to be next. In other words, we're approaching the turn-in, but not at the turn-in point in this slide. So we're focused on the apex. We're going to pick up the turn-in out of our peripheral vision. But most importantly, you can see that the driver has glanced ahead in that big yellow area to make sure that the exit of the corner is clear. In a similar fashion, they should have glanced at any flag stations within view to make sure that nothing is going on there out of the ordinary. But given all that, why do drivers miss flags? Because it's a lot more than the line, obviously. I already mentioned all the things that we need to be able to see. And I put this in here for emphasis because we have to keep a big portion of that mental focus of our brain, for these other factors that have nothing to do with the line, or for that matter, with going fast. We need our brain and that reaction time processing to deal with the unexpected. When we do come around a corner and there's something in our way, or, the track all of a sudden is slippery, or, you can fill in the blank with lots of things. And trying to, and using all of our mental energy to focus on going fast gets in the way. And that's my whole point here, is our vision and our brain have to be programmed to pick up everything going on around us and get so that becomes a second nature sort of a thing, before we can safely work on going fast. Flags, same story, right? Why do they get missed? Because people are distracted by other things. They're focused on their lap time. They're focused on the car ahead. They're focused on the car behind. again, we have to see everything, and there is no excuse, even for a beginner, never mind an advanced driver, to miss a flag. Mirrors, sometimes we've all been there. We miss a car behind, or the car in front of us misses us. Well, again, we should never, ever be surprised by a car in the mirror if we're glancing on a regular basis. But it's too easy to get, again, distracted or focused on the wrong things. And we have to be scanning those mirrors, when we get on a straightaway, in the middle of it, at the end of it, and apply that depth perception to know whether the cars are closer or further away and how many are back there. And I hope everyone on this, what happened to my slide here? Okay, all right. So with all that said, here's 3 areas of suggestions that you can apply to improve your driving on the track. And the first section here says we can practice a lot of this stuff on the street, and I'll go into that. Second, we can use visualization to make our mental picture more detailed, more vivid, and more useful. And then we can do what's called deliberate practice, where we actually go out on the track and literally improve our vision in a specific manner. So driving on the street, we've already talked about looking far ahead. Well, how far ahead does that mean? Well, it means a block ahead in the city, a quarter of a mile ahead any place else, or more. And that's anywhere from 12, 15, even 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is not a bad target. If you're not used to knowing what 20 seconds looks like, then practice it on the street, and that will become second nature, and that will be very helpful on the track. Obviously, we want that central vision where we want to go. If there's a distraction on the side of the road, our peripheral vision picks it up. That's where we're going to go. Mirrors, I hope everyone watching this knows how to correctly adjust the mirrors, but here is how you do it if you don't have them adjusted correctly. I'm not going to read through this. You can read it, but here's how people who have not followed this advice have their mirrors typically adjusted, which means the side mirrors each has a large blind spot, big enough to hold a car, in some cases even a truck, if you're on the highway. If you adjust the mirrors as suggested here, you're going to find that there is little or no blind spot. And I can't tell you how revelatory this is driving on the highway as well as on the track, to not have a blind spot, to be able to trust your mirrors, to know where a car is obviously really, really useful and a huge improvement to safety. So if your mirrors are not adjusted this way, stop the video now and go move them on every vehicle you have. Second is our mental vision. And this is preparing our mind and getting it ready so that when we do get out on the track, the line through the corner, the way the surface is supposed to look, the elevation, all of that, matches what you expect. So it's not just the line, it's the runoff, it's where the flag stations are, it's all that stuff. And you can improve this by taking an in-car video of a corner and just play it over and over again. Initially, play it at half speed, and then play it, several times at full speed, and then maybe even at double speed, and really get that picture and all the different things that are there in your mind. Then turn the video off and visualize it exactly the way you want to drive it. And do that again. Do that in a chair where you can turn your head, move your hands and feet, even imagine the sound that the car will be making and how it will feel. You can even do this sitting in your car, in the garage, or for that matter, in in staging while you're getting ready to go out on track. All of this will improve what you can see, because now you have a much clearer image in your mind. And when you look at the corner, if anything is different than that picture, then you know to react. If it's exactly as you anticipated, great. Then we can drive it as you anticipate. But again, very powerful technique that pros use every day, virtually every day. Now, third are deliberate practice sessions, or you've heard these referred to by Ross Bentley as sensory input sessions. And as it pertains to vision, here's an example of how to do this. In a general sense, which is the first of 3 worksheets here, there's in the worksheet simply the Thunderbolt track map or any track map with these questions on it. So the idea would be in one session, use the first map here and dedicate a session to seeing everything that you can see on and off the track surface, with the objective to find at least one new item each lap. And even subtle things like how the horizon changes during a corner count. But, something new, whether that's a crack you hadn't seen, a paint mark, could be anything like that. Focus on how far ahead can you see? Can you see that flag station even further ahead than you thought? Are you turning your head appropriately in each corner? Are you looking around the corners? Are you looking through them? That's where the mental image comes in. And so these are, questions, to put in your head before you go out, focus on them, come in, and as soon as you turn the car off, grab the worksheet and write your answers down, write down everything new that you saw, in the appropriate part of the track and so on. And then there's 2 more here. I won't go through the details. The second one deals with safety issues, mirrors, are the mirrors adjusted as well as you would like? How is my depth perception? Am I able to judge how fast or slow the closing speeds are? That sort of thing. How far ahead can I see the flag stations? Do I know where the runoffs are? All that sort of thing. Write those down when you come in. And third, reference points that aren't cones, things that don't move, track surface notes. Where is their sealer? Where is their elevation change? And again, try to find one new feature each lap that you can write on the map when you come in. And by the way, these are on the website. You can download them at this link and apply them to Thunderbolt. We also have them for many other tracks. So there's 3 different ways, and they're all complementary. So I highly recommend you try as many as you can. Ways to improve your vision and situational awareness, things you can practice on the street, visualization, and deliberate practice. Now, one kind of cautionary note, which applies to vision and everything else we do on track, and that is, we can sometimes lose focus. Either we're in a rut or for other reasons. It could be pressure. It could be we're distracted. If there's something going on at work or in our life that's got us bothered, and it's nagging at us, that's an alarm bell. That's not a good time to go on track until you can park that thought and focus because remember, I said our brain is a huge part of this. If we don't have 100% of our brain, then we're not going to drive well or safely. And certainly being tired is a huge factor as well. So if any of those apply, certainly, adjust accordingly. Either don't go out at all, or if you do go out, with a very specific purpose in mind at a slower pace. So to summarize today, vision is a lot more than our eyes. it includes knowing where and how to look, but it also includes knowing how the eyes and brain work, with our focus, with our mental image, using that focus to glance, using our peripheral vision. And we can and must see more in order to be safe. Vision isn't just about getting around the track. It's all about flags, traffic, runoff spaces, and all that sort of stuff that has to do with keeping everyone, not just us, safe when we're on the track. I've given you some easy ways you can improve your vision, and I hope you apply some of those. And I have to reinforce that there are many factors that can get in the way of being successful on track. So I hope you found this useful, and I hope to see you at the track soon. Again, please feel free to send me any questions and or to stop me when you see me at the track, and safe trip to the track. And again, I hope you found some of these tips useful. Good day.